Yo, what up? This is Deuce, and we are back. I know today is Wednesday, and we usually do. Um, we've started last week. We started with our fantasy show every Wednesday. But today our guy Tip Major, and prayers up to everyone that's in the Midwest that's dealing with all of those storms. I thought that this area was supposed to get hit with some storms, some thunderstorms a little later, but we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of storms, so we're going to bring them back next Wednesday. So today we're just going to do some reactions. We're going to react to the press conferences today of Dan Quinn and Joe Witt, and we're going to talk about some of OTAs. So appreciate y'all for jumping in, share it, put it out there. Let's get right into it.
Shout out Red Zone and Lab Podcast.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's Benjamin St. Jude's, DB for the Washington Commanders. I want to give a big shout out to Red Zone and the Lab Podcast.
Yo, what up? Welcome back. This is Red Zone and the Lab Podcast. I am Deuce. Like I told you all at the jump, I know this was supposed to be our Fantasy Wednesdays, but weather prevented our guests from joining today. So we're going to look at these OTAs. We're going to look at these press conferences. We're going to react to them. We're going to listen to them. We're going to react. Those in the comments, whenever you hear something you want me to stop, whatever you want to do, just go ahead and let me know. Shoot it. Let me know. And we can stop it, talk about it. We're going to do Dan Quinn, and we're going to do Joe Witt. So everyone that is here in the chats, appreciate y'all for coming through. Please go ahead and shoot that out for me. Share, retweet, whatever it is, wherever you are, whatever you do. I would definitely appreciate it. But how you guys doing? Let's do around the NFL real quick. While we wait for everyone, all the Commanders fans and any Commander haters, get in the chat and join us. Jettas, man, jeez, $35 million a year on average. That's a crazy number. He just took over Nick Bosa, which was at 34 for the highest paid non-quarterback, which is crazy. I mean, the guy played 6 games last year, and he had almost over 1,000 yards, 6 games. That's insane. So I think the next person behind him at 28, something like that. So the wide receiver market has changed, and I know one of the thoughts that we had, and you even heard on this show with a lot of our different shows, was the wide receiver market and the wide receivers is going to start looking like the running backs soon, with all the talent that came out this year. But we'll see. But for right now, I mean, wide receivers is getting paid. The market has flipped a few times this offseason, and you still have Jamar Chase. You still have CD Lamb. Who else? There was somebody. You got T. Higgins. Who else is up? Cheetah is looking for a new deal, even though Waddle got here. So is it like these GMs is not ready to take chances on these young wide receivers? But if the wide receiver class from this year is really good next year, then maybe we will kind of see it. But it's going to be too late by then, because I think a lot of these guys is going to get paid. So that's kind of the news around. Michael Parsons just is staying with Dallas. He mentioned that if he would leave, he would like to go to Pittsburgh and play with Mike Tomlin. He also mentioned that him and the defensive coordinator with the Cowboys only had like 20 words of conversation since he was hired, which I think is wild. He mentions too, the assistants that, I like doing it this way. He likes doing it that way. So I guess we'll wait till we meet up to see who way we're going to do it. Like that's not a good relationship starting off. Let me see what else is going on. Let me see anybody in the comments. What y'all got? What's up, Biggs? What's good, man? Appreciate you Jump in on that YouTube link for me, Biggs. What's up, Cheddar? Cheddar Bob in the building. What's up, Key? URE Smoke is in the building. And speaking of smoke, Kadar and Unk, is going to host the new show. DC is all about DC basketball. So we can't wait to put that out there for everyone to see. The intro of that should be dropping pretty soon. So y'all get engaged and follow the page. Be all DC basketball. We can talk about some AAU. We're going to talk about some high school, college, the Terps, of course, Mystics, the Wizards, and so forth. So I'm really excited about that. Mitch, what's good, man? How you feeling? How you doing, buddy? All right, man. So let's go through here and let's start off this reaction video.
This number 7, 8, 9 of the spring, we added the 11 on 11 elements, to the team portion. So that was a good process for us to go to. We did
I do want to mention before we get started, and I don't have a picture, but a lot of you all saw the picture on the social media about them digging up the turf field that was at the training facility, and they digging it up, putting in new grass. To me, that kind of shows you that they're going to be in Ashburn for a while. I don't think that has anything to do with where they're going to put the stadium, but them being in Ashburn is probably going to be what is definitely going to be. But it's been 30 years since that turf field has been sitting there. Like there are full fields there. For some of you that might not know, might not have seen the big scope of the pictures, or may not have been there, there are full fields there. The field that they're taking up, the turf field, that's usually where they usually had the big tents, the media and all that, and the VIP section. That's what they usually had on the turf park. They didn't practice on the turf park. They haven't practiced on that turf field. That's just there where they stage stuff at, blah, blah, blah. That's what that part. The part right next to it is usually like special teams with the kickers practice throughout the practice. They usually be over there kicking and punting, whatever it is that they do. And also that's where the players rehab. So on the other end of that field is like where the players rehab, do all their rehab work or whatever the case may be. And the other side is when they, work on field goals, punts, etc. And then the other two fields that's adjacent to those are where the actual where they actually be practicing at. So them putting this new field in here, I don't know what it's going to look like, because I don't think they're going to put like the bleachers and all that stuff with the big tent, the VIP tent, which you could go in and they got the AC in there and all that. They usually go right there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what that is going to look like. All right.
Bunch, it was just 7 on 7, a lot of skill work. We're still hitting the skill work hard now, but getting everybody together as a whole group, that's been really fun. You'll see a lot of kickoff and kickoff return going on today as well. And we're still digging in and researching it and finding all that. So it's a fun week.
You guys had to make a change at kicker. If you can just kind of walk through that whole decision and the decision to let go of Brandon and
sure.
Then, signing the new guy.
Yeah, and I think number one, I think you guys would all understand this is under investigation, so I can't comment a lot. But what I can say is a little bit about what I told the team, and I think like most things, not necessarily related to this, but as a lesson, let's make sure you always let somebody know and tell. There's usually a whole bunch of people that want to be part of the solution. And so when you have that, whether that's for this team or any team or a parent, that kind of communication allows you to, come up with some solutions. So like I said, not, specific to this, but it was just a good lesson, to always have that conversation. It's usually much more difficult in your head than it is really having the actual conversation. And so just wanted to make sure I got a lesson out to the guys as we're going through it. So we did release Brandon. I found out some of the information on May 27th.
So like the information was don't act a fool when you ain't supposed to be acting a fool. Right? Like mind yourself. Keep your hands on your lap. Don't touch nothing that don't belong to you. Don't do nothing you shouldn't be doing. Whether it's on a team plane or not on a team plane. Because more than likely it's going to come back to haunt you. Somebody say no, that means no. But when you have someone serving you or at service to you or for you in a sense of on a plane, stewardess, at a restaurant, whatever, it's a no-go. Like that's not the place. It's a time and place for everything, and that's not where you do that at. That's not where you do it. I don't care who you are, what you are, whatever it is that you do. That's not the place that you do it. You might slide them a note, say, "Hey, look, I'm interested in you. You might want to talk on your break or whatever. Here's my number. If you want to call afterwards." And then that's it. But that's not the place to do that.
Wanted to make sure I got a lesson out to the guys as we're going through it. So we did release Brandon. I found out some of the information on May 27th, and then we released him on June the 3rd.
And then switching to the offensive line,
All right,
like,
so
a lot of talk about that.
They didn't know to May 27th. So a lot of people out there saying, what's up, Outlaw? I see you. Yep, left hand. A lot of folks saying that, you know, they knew whatever. No, they did not know. They didn't know about any of this until May 27th. May 27th, they found out. They did their research, like he said. They found out this, and that. They had did whatever it is that they needed to do. Whatever information they gathered, in that time frame, it was enough of them to say, you know what, we're going to release you. And I'm not saying that it's going to say that he's guilty, he did this, he did that, because during the duration of it, it started coming out that they were smoking and drinking and doing all this stuff on the team playing. They shouldn't have been doing that. So now Jacksonville is going to be in some type of trouble with the NFL, because that's an absolute no-go on those planes. So, you know, whatever information they had, it was enough for them to say, you know what, we're just going to move on. Good work.
That you have four new starters, some young guys there. What can you guys do as coaches to kind of help that process? And what things can you look for now? Because as you said, you want to see them in pads, but what do you look for now that shows maybe growth or whatever?
Yeah, I think first part, think about walk, crawl, run, like how are we doing the meetings first, and the system and the learning. And so there's walkthroughs. In other words, assignment wise and targeting, are we in the right spot? We may not be able to assess all the physical things we want right now, but there's still a lot to assess, all the individual skill work. And so where are they at big picture wise, playbook, where are we at doing the individual skill work? And then the last piece, like you said, will really come at that position, offensive and defensive line. The evaluation's much more critical for the physical part once we get to the pads in that portion of the training camp. And so we'll have a good long window to compete with a number of guys and get to the bottom of it.
To clarify, were you guys aware at all of the allegations or the alleged incident before you signed?
First was May 27th.
And he just doubled down. He just doubled down. Nikki Jabala asked him, so you're saying that you didn't know anything about the allegations prior? He said, no, we didn't find out until May 27th. He doubled down and he made sure that was clear, and Nikki wanted that to be clear. Hey, Miss Janet, what it do? Glenn is in the building.
Continuing to grow, continuing to learn over these last couple of weeks. Any specific examples that you've seen that's really stood out to you? Be like, you know what? Yeah, he's starting to get it. He's starting to grasp. He's starting to go to another level.
Yeah, I think the situation work we've been working really hard on. And so some of the timing and mechanics are different from college in a 2-minute setting than it is in the NFL. And so to see every day him going through those mechanics at a 2-minute. So the other day of, at the end of the half, working down in a clock situation where it's still moving on a first down. And so like that type of urgency. And so seeing him being comfortable in that environment, I would say that's one example of many that shows the work that he's putting in.
Over the course of this next week and a half, pretty important, because after next week, they go on their summer break. What are some of the key elements, key important things you're trying to drill home to your team before this final stretch run here?
So before he go there, you talked about Jaden and him being able to work in 2-minute offenses and different things like that. And I know it's just OTAs, right? But if you're doing bad, it's going to be reported. If you're doing good, it's going to be reported, right? So far, if you line up OTAs with OTAs, Jaden is having a good camp. But if you look at like Drake May, for instance, just lining up OTAs with OTAs, the information that we have currently, not projecting, information that we have currently right now from the last 4 weeks or whatever, what we know is Jaden Daniels is progressing. He's getting better. And Drake May was just been named, quote, QB2 in New England.
trying to work the situation side of the game as much as we can, and knowing that about 70% of our league, the games are 8 points or less, and so it kind of speaks to the importance of what can happen at the end of the half or the end of the game, and so much of that can tie in to special teams and how you're working that part of things. So all three phases working together, and so we're really trying to dig in on those. We're getting a lot of reps inside and some jog throughs on the system offensively and defensively, but being outside and the timing elements of situations, those are harder to walk through, because these 7 seconds have to be done and executed at a really high pace. So we've been really pleased with the work that the guys have been putting into that spot.
Dan, it looks like you and Adam really value positional size across the board, but outside, your corners traditionally have been bigger guys. So with a guy like Emmanuel, who's got obviously a very unique skill set, but is on the smaller side, how do you work with him and work around whatever physical limitations he have, or do you even see him as having physical limitations with his build?
The first part is really, the ball skills. And at that spot, to be able to turn the ball over as a defense, that's something that you really want. And that's, I would say, his superpower, and the thing that he was so strong at. And so from there, you look for length. And so it doesn't always necessarily mean the size to it. And he's bigger than he was, for sure. He's worked hard on that this offseason to see that weight going up.
So he gained weight. And from what Dan Quinn is telling us, he has gained weight. How much weight? He didn't say. It could be half a pound, what I'm saying? But he did gain weight. It might not be enough weight, but he did gain weight. And yeah, Mitch, he was a QB too. Look at Delonte Commander's going to the playoffs. Write it down, my man. All right.
But the length and the ball skills at that position.
And that's what he had. He has length. He has ball skills from what we know in college. He didn't show a lot of it last year. We did. I ain't gonna say he didn't show anything last. He did show flashes of those things last year.
Outside on that freeway, there's some real athletes, and you're just seeing more of this happen. You see some of the big numbers at contracts at receiver and corners, and so that position alone, man, it really calls for athleticism, the ball skills, and having that length to be able to defend some of the bigger players.
And then generally, how do you work with Chad and his staff to kind of get guys where you want them, both from a build standpoint, but then a physical trait standpoint?
Yeah, and so that's the good part of assessing every player. Not one size fits all, from their body composition to where they're at. And so each player will have a specific weight and a goal that they're trying to work towards. And so it's not one size fits all. In other words, they have to be between 180 or 190. It's really customized to the player. And that way we'll find what's best for them.
Which is good.
You said 7, 8, and 9. Anything surprised you in this process with these guys who are dealing with an entirely new coaching staff?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say surprise is the right word, but man, I felt like the intent of improving. And really, that's what this time of year is for, not just for a ball player, but for coaches too. To say all of us, collectively are getting better as we're going. I expect to see that more this week and then next week into our mini camp. But that's really what this week is setting us up for, is to get into next week. It'll be more of a traditional in-season type of schedule on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and a Thursday, which, in a normal NFL week for a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll model some of that and some of the things that we would work on during those spaces. So,
all right. So next week's mandatory mini camp is where they're going to model what it's going to look like during the season, right? It might not look like that. They might test some things out, but the way they're going to run the schedule each day is going to mirror or model what they would like to do when the regular season comes around or when training camp comes around. So you can just kind of tell just by the way he's talking, there's going to be a little more intensity. They're going to be expecting a little bit more. We want to be just a little bit more aggressive before they go on their break.
That's what we're looking to, to gain out of it. But more than anything, man, I felt like an incredible work ethic to get better.
And historically, as a coach, guys who are playing for that next contract, you got a guy like Jamin Davis who's got to do that.
Yep.
Have you noticed a change historically with players that are doing that? And what do you need to see from him in order for him to get to that next level?
I think that's a natural question, at the end of a contract, or you're in a contract year, and what does that look like? But more important even than that is like this improvement, and we're trying to really push him specifically on the versatility. So you'll see him working some with the defensive line. You'll see him working with Ryan Kerrigan on the side. And we're adding, parts to his game that maybe we didn't use, and we're certainly trying to explore that. And so if that's something that he can add value for himself and for the team, then we'll dig in. And that'll take a while as well. That's not something that's in one practice or in 1 week to say, okay, it's there. let's take the time and work through it. And
Hey, Coach. Obviously, you and Adam Peters and ownership.
And I do appreciate everyone that's joining in. We're just reacting to the press conference today with Dan Quinn, and we're going to do Joe Witt. So if you're in a comment, just go ahead and comment out. If you're on Twitter, if you go to my profile, please join under the YouTube link. Join in the YouTube. Hit us up in the comments in there, please, because and I know Twitter and is having some issues connecting to StreamYard. So if you're putting any messages or comments there, I can't see it how I would usually see it.
Inherited the history of this.
Hit that like button. Ding, 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 ding.
Part of it. But when a situation like this arises, where those kind of allegations, does it impact your decision making?
you know, I said it earlier. You know, there's nothing that we can comment on. You know, there's an investigation that's ongoing. So what we always want to do, like in all the spaces and all the, you know, the players, let's have open communication. And
I mean, he answered the question. They didn't know another 27. They made a move. They let him go.
The solution. Our team has an army of support, like most teams do.
We got to move on.
So that communication, that's a critical piece of it.
Coach, as you look forward to the minicamp next week, how advantageous is it as a staff to have so many people present for the voluntary portion?
Well, it's been this way the whole session, and it's been exciting because now you can try different people at different spots. Maybe some matchups that you want to see. Okay, some man coverage versus zone. How is that look going to go? The competition during
different people at different coverages, different matchups. I know these are voluntary OTAs, but just being there, it helps prepare and it helps like start what you're going to want to do like in training camp. So now mandatory next week, you don't have to do a lot of things that you was already able to do because of the fact that everyone was there. So now you're not, now you don't have to catch up anybody because everyone is where they are. So then you just start with new stuff and keep building off what you already have instead of trying to implement a former rookie of the year to act like he don't want to play football anymore. Sorry, Radar.
During this phase of spring football is certainly different than it is in training camp. It's speed, it's your execution, but not the physicality. So we don't want to go too far in the evaluation physically because so much of this evaluation is assignment, where we're at, the communication. If we get that part right, then we know when we get to camp, we'll really let it rip. But getting the part of the communication, the speed right, then we can add the last element to it.
And then as a coaching staff with, people coming, obviously some of you know each other from the past, but some of you don't. How do you feel the unison in the staff is coming together as a group? And
that part's been fun. That's one of the great parts about, our game is like, it's always evolving and changing. And so what has been good, it started probably, I recognized it during free agency where people had different backgrounds, had even been around different players. And so that carried into the draft. And now we're able to share ideas on the things. And so planning for a mini camp or planning for a training camp, it's very easy now to ask, Lynn or Cliff, let's compare what was good, what'd you like, what could we do differently? So those are questions that's nice to have somebody right there to discuss with. And, so that part's been exceptional for us.
Which probably haven't happened in the past. We have to understand like the what was on the field was bad, and also what was in the building was bad, right? Like when you think about it, all of these different hires that we're making, that we're seeing, if you go on a website and you look under like the front office hire, it's a ton of people, and we're going to look at that soon in the lab in a few weeks. But there are a ton of people there, and we didn't have all of those employees at one point. Right. So then now you start stretching people thin, then you're not doing this, you're not doing that. You're not able to have these type of conversations because it's just not enough manpower. Kudos to Josh Harris.
Did that change your thinking on how you handle that specific play? Do you use it in the future?
Yes. That's how we're at right now, unless somebody emerges in one of these specific tryouts that they've got real punt, pass, kick background as a child. But right now, yeah, that's how we're leaning towards it. The fun part about this, Nikki, is like there's a lot of exploring going on. And you'll see some things today that might be a little bit different than Friday. And that's kind of the fun part about a new challenge, a new thing to go. And so at one time we didn't throw the forward pass, so that worked out pretty good.
So
we'll see
from
where
a
it goes.
football perspective, though, McManus was here to be the kicker. Now you sign Ahmed. Like, how is that going to impact the roster? Do you have to sign a place kicker also, or how does it go forward?
No, he kicks and kickoffs, the whole thing. Like he's a
You-
full-fledged kicker.
Okay, do you expect it to be a competition though, or is
Yeah, we're
Ahmed
going
your
to
guy?
compete at
What-
every
what
spot.
type
That's
of
one the
question is
cool
that,
parts
JP?
about, like Adam and his
What are you
staff. Like,
talking about?
we're
He's
gonna
a-
dig forever.
he's
Not
a
just
kicker.
but like at every spot. And so like that's what our whole
Come on,
program is
JP,
based on,
bruh.
is the competition. And so
You
that
gotta
being the
sign a
central
place
theme, that
kicker.
goes
He's a
through
full-fledged
kicker, that
kicker.
goes through quarterback, that goes through center, that goes through linebacker to corner to everywhere. And
You
so
telling people ain't play football.
having Adam and
boy.
his staff
Riri.
always digging and looking. That's what it's about. But it's
Janet.
also moments like this that
like,
guys
what
get
are
their
you talking about,
opportunity.
JP?
And when they do, a lot of times, people have been waiting for that shot, that moment, and we take it from there. So we have fresh eyes on somebody when they come in, and then we do the evaluation, as opposed to looking way far down the line. I recognize that's part of your job to look down there, but I try to put that off and just have fresh eyes for the moment and the player and what we think he can do.
We didn't have a chance to ask you last week about the report that they could be moving this part of the schedule, the OTA schedule, up towards training camp and changed all that. What do you kind of make of that, compressing it that way?
I don't have a lot of details on that, but what I can say, if it's something that from a player standpoint, it's better. There's health related reasons behind it. We'll find a way. And the teaching is the big piece. I would imagine there's probably some guidelines that you want for the new player who's learning a system. Much different than like an NBA team that may keep a group from a year, maybe one new player into the next. You're adding a lot of players every year. So as long as there were some teaching elements to get the system down, I have full confidence. This is not the old days where you get to training camp to get in shape. These guys are really ready. And so whatever guidelines are there, that's good. I know there's some, push for an 18th game, which I think there's a lot of fun for that too. But until then, we'll play it out like we got it.
And your safety tandem, Quan Martin, Jeremy Chin, I'm not assuming that they're the starters, but the guys who may be in that role, just what have been your early impressions of them, and how do you kind of see them merging together as a duo there?
Yeah, and we'll also play where there's three safeties on the field at times, and that position has some flow to it. Quan's got experience at playing nickel and down and in by the line of scrimmage. Jeremy can, come from the top down and play over tight end. So they're unique things they have. That's what this part of the year is for, is to find those unique things. But I've been really impressed by the two of them, their communication together, but they're not the only ones. You're seeing different guys and different combinations, and we'll continue to do that.
That's big.
Dan, I know you guys were on different sides of the ball in Dallas, but Tyler Biadasz, having a guy like him here.
So remember, we do talk about Jeremy Chin, and the way we kind of talk about him is when he was, healthy. He wasn't healthy last year. So when we talk about him, we just got to be mindful that he's not like coming off a star-studded year or whatever the case may be. So what we see from him is that we hope we see a better version of what we saw a couple years ago when he was really, really good. So that's something that we got to keep in, just keep in check in our mind when we talk about Chin.
So far, what have you seen from him? How has he kind of meshed with the offense, the offensive line with the team?
Yeah, I think having Badass here, working with him for 3 years, I knew not only
they be listening to our spaces.
Player,
I'm telling you, they be listening to our
the
spaces
person under the helmet. I knew what was behind the rib cage for him. His toughness. I saw
behind the rib cage.
Bad ankle playing. I knew how tough this guy was and what an important teammate he was. And so for him to be around guys like Zach Martin and Tyron Smith that had incredible standards, guys like Nick Allegretti and Tyler to join into here. It's fun to see new leaders emerge into different spots. And I think we're seeing that with Tyler.
Real quick, Jaden throwing out the first pitch of the Nats game coming up this weekend. Have you ever thrown out a first pitch? Do you have any tips for him?
We had a big discussion about that just yesterday. So all eyes are on that first pitch. And I asked if there was going to be some practice involved going out there. Oh, no doubt about it. So, yeah, we're expecting him to rip a strike.
No doubt about it. Yes, he prepares, man.
This one here, what field? No, I'm just kidding.
He prepares.
The good news, turf field had been here a long time that we didn't utilize. And so give some props to Josh and to his team of recognizing when things have to change, for the betterment of these players, that he's going to find a way to do that. And that's his pack to the guys, and knowing that, like, there's a way to dig in to let them know that he's going turn over every rock, so to speak, to make this experience as strong as it could be. Man, are we appreciative of that. So it'll be another grass field that we'll have here. And hopefully that'll be by the end of training camp. Around that's a timeline for that as we're going forward. But yeah, it's pretty cool thing to see that when there's a chance to do it a little bit. And obviously you see a lot of construction going on here and taking that shot to do it. We've got a lot of appreciation for Josh and his team of what they're trying to accomplish here. All right, you guys have a good one. See ya.
All right, so I kind of wonder. Well, let's go back to Tyler. Tyler is starting. Like, he's probably going to be the starting center. He's already taken on the role, the starting role. He's already, like he said, becoming a leader, and that's something that we really never had on the offensive line since Trent left. Right, was a leader on that offensive line. I mean, even when Sheriff was here, Sheriff was he wasn't really a leader in that sense. Nor was Morgan Moses really, but now we need that type of identity. We need someone to establish that, and it looked like that's going to be Tyler. And more on the field, he said by the end of training camp. So I'm really interested to see what training camp is going to look like. Like I say, they use that field, for the VIP, for the big tent, for the media. And all that, like, that's what they use that field for. So it's going to be very interesting to see what training camp is going to look like. Let's see if we could pull up Dan Quinn. Joe Witt. Yeah, man. Anything. What did y'all see? Yeah, we about to get into Witt, Mitch. Anything you all want to discuss from Dan Quinn's presser? One thing I know, man, is like you got to remember, he wants to use as much space as possible. One of his press conferences, he had mentioned that he don't want people just standing around watching. Right, he wants everyone in competition. He wants everyone moving around. So they're going to use those fields. And to whatever, for the competition, whatever the case. It's not going to be one field, everyone just watching, right, until there's time for you to come in. Just similar to basketball. When you for trials and things like that, you have like 25, 30 people. You have whole games running on each court or whatever, and you have coaches there to pull people out, switch them up. That's what's going to happen here, right? Because it's going to be 90 players, right? And we need to see all of them. Like, I need to make sure that the 90th player on this roster is not better than the 50th player on this roster. And I want to make sure I'm confident in that before I submit my 53. So in order to do that, I need to see you on the field. I need to see if you're taking the information from the classroom, the instructions from on the field, and you are applying it, not just in the preseason games or when they practice, when they bump with Miami and the Jets, but also during practice. Like, I need to see that. And for me to see that, I need you to be on the field. So they're definitely going to be spread out. That definitely, and this is why I really like this. It means so much, right? I'm going to move on to Witt. Because Cliff Kingsbury, Witt, they can't be on on each field, right? They can't be on each field calling the plays. There is going to have to be someone else that understands what Witt and Cliff wants to do that's going to be calling those plays, right? And the other coaches and their assistants. So their assistants is going to be involved heavily in the preparation, the teaching, the planning, and all. They're going to be involved. So this is also strengthening them by doing this, right? But when everyone is on the same field, only voice you hear are the coordinators or the quarterback's coach working with the quarterback. But now you're expanding that. So now you're hearing multiple people. So when game day come, everyone's on the same accord. Everyone knows this. Everyone is going to know what is whatever the game plan, how to implement it, how to apply it, what this player can do, what that player can do. I am very excited to see that. Yeah, I can't wait for training camp. Hey, Kim, how are you? Have you heard the presser yet? Yeah, that's what we're doing now, Kim. We're reacting to the presser we just did, Dan Quinn. And now we're about to get into Joe Witt. Again, everyone that's on Twitter, if you go to my profile, my pin is the episode with the YouTube link. Please join the YouTube link. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notifications if you hadn't. Everyone in the chat, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's work that algorithm and comment. You know, this is interaction. All out my pods are pretty much interaction. Put in the comments. But if you're on Twitter, there's some type of glitch between Twitter and StreamYard that you're not able to see the comments, how I'm able to see it here on StreamYard like before. So until they fix that out, I'd rather you just to come on over to YouTube. All right, Joe Witt. I haven't listened to this. I didn't listen to Quinn's either because I wanted to kind of react. I saw a couple clips, but I purposely didn't look at any clips of Joe Witt. So let's get to Joe Witt.
Just the energy, the incitement of what we're doing, the way they're buying in, the way they're competing, it's fun, man.
First of all, no flash, no colors. He got a dirty hat on, a hoodie he each probably worn 100 times. You know what I mean, with the small W, and he's just like he work. Like, look, I'm here to work. I ain't here to look pretty. I'm here to work.
Both sides of the ball. It's just not looking at defense. Both sides of the ball. Everybody out there is just really going after each other, and that's what it's supposed to be. That's the only way we're going to get better.
What are your early impressions on Emmanuel Forbes so far? What do you?
Because remember, Joe Witt said, when I leave, when I leave, there's no bone in my body that says, you know what, I should have stayed longer. I should have done more. Because he said the time that he's supposed to be there, he gives everything. He doesn't take time up. He gives everything he's supposed to give. So once he leaves that practice facility, he's going home to be a father, a husband, a grandpa, and he's able to enjoy that part of life. And if you have a mindset that you're able to separate those two things, not only would your mind be clear, but you'll be able to help others be able to get to that type of mindset. But everyone can't do it. Like you hear people all the time say, football is my life. Coaching is my life. 23 hours a day. I'm in the building. I don't vacation, this, and that. And we call that a grind. But Witt is telling you, if you prepare and you give everything you have in that time frame that you're supposed to be there, then you shouldn't have no regrets when you leave that building. That's the type of mindset that you want, not only as a football player, a football coach, but in life, to be able to separate like your work from your home. A lot of times, like, you don't want to mix the two. You know, you don't want to mix the two, because having a bad day one place, you don't want to take that home to people that's having a good day. So I love Joe Witt, man. What's up, Matt?
I've seen a young man that is every day getting better, getting used to my hard coaching.
So far, what have you seen from him?
I've seen a young man that is,
let's go back
to the ball. Everybody out there is just really going after each other, and that's what it's supposed to be. That's the only way we're going to get better.
What are your early impressions on Emmanuel Forbes so far? What have you seen from him?
I've seen a young man that is every day getting better, getting used to my hard coaching. He's a kid that has a really good skill set, and just like the rest of the young guys, he's out there working his butt off, and I've been pleased with him. Yeah. Luvo? Oh man, everything. What's not to like about him? He is the heartbeat of what competitive, hard-nosed defense.
Look at the difference between the answers from Forbes and from Luvu. You see the difference, right? Did you see that? You see the difference? There is a difference.
Defensive football is about, and I remember he said, Coach, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. And he goes as hard as he can. I love that. I mean, he's a fun guy to be around, fun guy to coach.
With Emmanuel, what are some of the things that you were
went back to Emmanuel for
just to kind of get him to where?
Well, those are the things that me and him are going to talk about. Well, just between us, but one thing that I always would do, I'll look at every team's interviews and I'll try to pick here and there. They'll figure it out when we play, okay? But I can tell you that the kid is working his butt off, and I'm pleased with where he is. I can tell you that 100%. Because if I wasn't, I'll tell you, I'm not going to come up here and BS anybody, all right?
Talk to him, Witt. Talk to him, Witt.
Working his butt off, and I'm pleased with where he is. I can tell you that 100%. Because if I wasn't, I'll tell you, I'm not going to come up here and BS anybody. All right, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all trying to figure out what exactly this defense is going to look like. Do you know at this point?
Yeah.
Because it's all so new, like how everybody's going to fit in together?
Oh, I know how it's going to look, yeah. I mean, what's your next question?
So the breaking loop with him, like, seems like he can play all over. But how many different spots do you kind of see that he can potentially fit into?
Same as here. Why would I say that right now when people are looking? All right, they'll figure it out when we play.
Where's Belante? What's my favorite? Idiots. Like, bro, he is sitting up here telling you, I'm not going to answer the questions that you're looking for me. Why would I tell you these things? Why would I do that? Why, when everyone is watching, I'm going to tell you what we're doing at practice. I'm going to tell you their strength. I'm going to tell you their weaknesses. Why would I do that? Next question. Okay, but how about, what? Listen, why would I tell you that? I'm not going to tell you that. Come on, man. That's right, Glenn. He took a deep breath before he answered. Yeah, he a real one, man. I love, huge difference. I love it too. I love it. We see Kim say, I don't know about that. You don't know about what, Kim? But yeah, let's go back to Witt, man.
Play. But we're happy, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass. All right, trust me, believe me, okay? But the advantage that we have right now is people don't know, okay? And we're going to keep that advantage until they figure it out. So I'm not going to say, I'm not trying to dodge anybody's question, all right? I'm answering it the best way I can, but we have good players, and we're going to put them in position to help us win.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going to get until, after the first game.
Yeah, listen, look. Foles might be at free safety, but I ain't telling you. Percy Butler might have taken a 2-year jump. He might be the best player out there. He gonna start at free safety, but I ain't telling you. Christian Rodriguez might have came to camp leaner, faster, stronger. He might be RB1. He might be RB2, but I ain't telling you. Look, I ain't trying to be smart. I ain't trying to be smart. I'm just answering your questions the best way I can.
Obviously, this is the time to also experiment with some guys like Jamin working a little bit at the edge. What are some of the traits you see in him that maybe tell you it's worth looking at?
He's a big, strong, fast man that has the ability to bend. All right, so we want to make sure we get our best players on the field in whatever capacity we can do. We have a history of playing guys in positions that they might not normally be used to, and we're just trying to put our best 11 guys on the field. And he's a big, fast, willing guy that's excited about doing it.
So they talking about Jamin. A lot of us talked about that over the last couple. He said he's a bender. So obviously, whatever he's showing them that he can bend, he's tall, he's athletic, he's slim. He wanted like a leaner type guy, but that's so important is being able to bend as an edge rusher. Man, that's so important because so many tackles have issues with great benders. Just think about it. TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, all those guys, they are great benders, right? And tackles have issues with those guys. And then when you add power moves to that, you're pretty much unstoppable. Right? Because you just don't know. So that's very important. But Kim said she's keeping it real, that he's keeping. I don't like they're told what to say. I don't think these are coaches talking about practice. They're not talking about anything like the McManus situation or something where PR will have to say, hey, look, this is how you're going to answer this question. This is how you should answer this question. I don't think they're doing that, especially, Forbes. Why would they do that about Forbes? That doesn't really make any sense. Look, he's getting better. That could be, this is his second year. Of course he should get better from what they saw. Of course, he probably did gain 2-3 pounds. He didn't say how much, you know what I mean? He's where he wants him to be. He probably told, hey, look, by June 5th, I need you to understand this part of your game. I need you to understand this. I need you to understand that. He's probably met that. And on the flip side, you're just not going to like dog your players. No, they're not going to do that. But I don't think no one is telling these guys what to say, because this is just regular practice. This is not like a competition. This is not nothing like what we're used to in the past. This is not Chase Young, and I'm using him as an example where what they said and what Ron said probably had to be worked through before. The whole thing with EB and somebody going around, all that other crap had to be worked through. I don't think that's the case here at all. I don't think that's the case here at all. All right.
Coaching a guy like Damon who's playing for a contract. You ever notice a change in the makeup of a guy who knows that the next deal is what he's playing?
I really don't get into that, to be honest with you. If this is why, if you get comfortable, if you change because of a contract or not, shame on you. Okay, I remember Charles Wilson told me he had just signed his contract, and I came down into the meeting room. I said, "Wood, you got that big contract." He said, "Man, I'm trying to get the next one."
Yeah. Yes, that's the attitude. Charles Wilson, shout out to the Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? He could have been a Hall of Fame corner and safety. He was a guy that I thought Landon Collins was trying to look at to try to mimic. Being able to switch roles as you get older, having an understanding that you just don't have that speed to do the things you used to do, but you'll be so much better closer to the line. And Charles Wilson did that. Like both half of his careers were great. But he told him the Jameis situation, they were saying, what if he comes out, his mindset changes, that he's trying to look for a contract. We talk about contract years and how they, and how players get better. They have these boosts and all that. Joe Witt say, hey, look, shame on you. Shame on you if you only doing this for money and only doing this for contract. And then he talking about the moment we gave him that mindset with Charles Wilson. When Charles, you all heard it. Charles Wilson say, I'm looking for the next one. And that's where you have to be. That's where your hunger have to be, because you're trying to provide. You're trying to be a provider. And the NFL is short, but it's a lot of money involved, right? These guys, you get these big contracts, and it's really the signing bonuses. So, you get $80 million signing bonus, you play a couple years, you get 130 max, then they either can cut you or extend you. You want to get that next signing bonus. So if you want to get more of that money that's going to be out. Like these TV deals and all that stuff, the money is going to be there. So you're just here just to get one contract. It's really not going to end well. It's not going to end well for you. Davis, he's going to probably be all over the place. We don't really know. I like that they're having the players try other positions, because that helps each player understand what they needed. Yeah, it does. I need to know what the guy beside me is doing, because I need to understand what I'm looking at for my responsibilities. I need to understand that I'm not going to be in his lane with his responsibilities. So yeah, I need to understand that. I need to understand that for sure. Yep, that's a great observation, Kim.
He signed it, so that's the mentality that has to be. How do I get to the next one? How do I win a championship? I don't really worry about that.
Is he somebody that still likes to absorb things from other veterans?
Yes, and he is a listener. He's a guy that absorbs it. He has one of the best linebacker coaches in the league, in Ken Norton. Who wouldn't want to listen to him? And then you have Bobby right next to you, and then the young guys. So he absorbs everything, and then at the same time, he's really a quiet guy, but when he speaks, everybody listens.
Joe, along those same lines, having a Bobby Wagner on your defense, how much do you actually lean on him to help with the little things, to be that leader on the defense? A lot.
I just told the defense, this is the vet's responsibility that the young guys are going at the speed of the vets. All right, if they have to make sure that happens. We're going to get them to understand what they have, but to play with the edge and the tenacity that we want. All right, they're in the locker room with them. And Bobby does a great job of that. And Bobby does a great job of when I install something, and if I don't do it as clean as I should, He'll come and say, hey, coach, maybe got you, Bobby. All right, go back in there and do it. And I respect that. I take coaching from my players. I did it in Dallas. I did it in Green Bay, wherever. That's
humble. This is now Witt showing you humbleness. He's showing you aggression. He's showing you wit. He's showing you smarts, right? He's showing you leadership. He's showing you how to follow when he talks about Quinn and AP and those guys. Now he's showing you how to be humble, right? You got this vet and Bobby Wagner that's been around the league. He's seen a lot. They worked together before. Hey, coach, this is not as clean as I think it should be. All right, let me go check it out. That's humbleness.
That's the only way you get better. All right. So we're all trying to grow and get better. So I'm not trying to say, hey, I have all the answers. As a defensive staff, we're putting this together with the players. It's our defense. It ain't my defense. It ain't Coach Quinn's, the Commander defense.
Here we go.
Right? And we're going to get it done. So
there you go again. The Commander's defense. There you go again. That's not the first time you've heard that. Commander's defense. There you go again. We're putting this together. All the coaches is putting this together. Commander's defense. This is why I'm not worried about if we do have success this year of Witt or Cliff, getting head coaching jobs or whatever, because I really believe, along with the thing we talked about the full fields, about spreading out the players and everyone being involved, even the coaches being involved, we'll be okay. We'll have people there that understands what the Commanders' defense is. I love it.
It takes all of us.
And along those lines, you got a clean slate here. You come from a whole brand new staff, guys you haven't coached before. You're the architect of this defense. How fun is that challenge of having this clean slate and going, all right, let's start?
It's been really fun. What makes it fun is working with good people. The defensive staff, I don't think I've seen enough written about those guys. Jason Simmons, Tommy Donatello, already talked about Ken Tapp. Man, we come to work every day and we compete. We have fun. And then we get the opportunity to coach a group of young men that are willing and wanting to show that we can play high-level defense. And so when you have that with the people that you work alongside with and the people that you coach, man, it's fun to come to work every day. Where else would you want to be?
Like two more about Jeremy Chin so far. What sort of aspects of his game you take?
Anyone in the chat from what he just said? Oh, what's up, Deron, in the building, in the comments. Again, everyone that's here, I definitely appreciate y'all joining in. Thank you so much. Those that are joining on Twitter, if you go to my profile, you can get to the page, the YouTube page, join the conversation there in the comments. Please subscribe. If you're not, please share, retweet, hit that like button for me, y'all. I definitely appreciate it. Or the thumbs up, whatever it is on your screen. And come over to the YouTube side so you can engage in the comments, because something is wrong with the Twitter and StreamYard. They're not connecting, so I can't see the comments how I would usually do. But I want something he mentioned about the other coaches, Donatello, like all of those guys that are in. But like I said, yesterday's episode was awesome with Neil Stratton breaking down the front office scouts. Like, if you haven't seen that, please go back and watch it. A lot of times we don't do that with our show. We don't tell you to go do this, but please, it's very informative. He's going to come back and do more. But when you look in the front office on the website, there are so many employees in the front office that was not there last year. But just on the field, he talks about all the positional coaches and assistant coaches that he works with, how everyone is on one accord. And it's still the honeymoon period. Let's not act like it's not. But everyone is on one accord. They love coming to work. Everyone in the chat, do you believe at any point last year, from when we first hired Eric Bieniemy all the way up to the end of the year, that everyone was on one accord? Just say yes or no in the chat. Throw some bats up with it and let me know. Deron, I love me some Mitch. I love me some Witt. Mitch said that's the coach you have to listen to players. Glenn said a great leader knows how to listen to the heartbeat of his troops. And, that's Glenn talking. Like, that statement from Glenn is not only about football. That's about life. Real life. War life. Serving in the army. Like, you were standing next to someone that literally can help protect your life. You're protecting that person. When you stand close to someone in those type of stressful situations, when everything is quiet, all you can hear is heartbeat. This is one of the things why in that slogan, that y'all hear, one heart, one beat, one sound, one love. That heartbeat is so important because you can hear it. You can feel the vibration of the heartbeat, and that matters so much. Like in general, in life, in war, whatever, football, like you want to be able, everyone want to have that same heartbeat. Because if one beat is off, right? If one beat is off, it's either too fast or too slow, it will knock everything off. Unfold arms. Unfold our arms. Y'all crazy, Commanders defense. Why you keep circling the man's head with the mouth, bro? And yeah, I ain't even noticed that. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. Because I'm like, man, this dude is good, man. This dude is good. In my mind, I'm talking like I'm like pointing at him, like, yeah, you the man. I didn't even realize that. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. Look at this. Nope. Look at Ratty. Look at you. Look at Ratty. Anyway, look at you, man. Man, stop that. Jack Del Rio. Yep. What's up? Yep, that's true. My bad, Glenn. I didn't notice it. My bad. All right, let's finish this out. It's a few minutes.
Once again, Jeremy, I said big, fast, strong with Jamin. Jeremy's the same thing. He's a really intelligent man as well. He can control the back end. He can make the calls. He can help the safety next to him. He can help the star and the linebacker. So communication, I always talk about, is not only sent, it's receiving it, knowledge, and he is really taking that, grabbing it, and going to the next level with it. We want to be a chatty defense.
Chatty defense, communication, talk.
Defensive rookies. So some of the rookies that you all drafted and going in undrafted. Can you share a bit about their skill sets so that you really saw them?
Is anybody in particular, or you want to talk about a collective? All right, Jordan McGee. Okay, those two guys, especially Jordan, I'll start with him. He's a guy that I've been pleased with because he doesn't carry himself like a rookie. All right, you would not know that with the way he handles himself, the way he absorbs information. He doesn't have a lot of mistakes. Hampton, we've put him in some difficult positions, to be honest with you, and he's answering the challenge. Those guys that I want to see, can they go in there and play along with Bobby and Oos and Jonathan Allen and Payne and those guys? So those two guys, we have put a lot on, and they're answering the bell as right now.
And I like that, right? And this is what we talk about people not just standing around, right? Like no one is just standing around, right? I'm going to take this undrafted player and I'm going to put him right beside Bobby Wagner. Let's see how you perform, right? Right? You know what I mean? Like I'm going to take this late round draft pick. I'm going to put you at QB1 across from Terry. Let's see how you perform. Right. This is what I mean about they want to make sure during camp, 90-man roster, they want to make sure the 90th guy is supposed to be the 90th guy. And the 90th guy is not better than the 50th guy. Because if that's the case, then there's an issue. There's an issue with coaching, there's an issue with the roster. So I want to make sure when I set my 53, it's actually the best 53 out of that 90. And in order for me to do that, I need to see them in all facets of the game.
Juan, when you came in and the staff came in under you, you started talking about how we're not going to see exactly what we saw from Dan Quinn in Dallas, or what we saw some stuff from Green Bay or whatever. As you see some of the players come in here, how exciting is it to kind of see this defense take shape and as you plug some of these guys in?
That's a long question, bro.
The defense you guys want to build here that you talk about is different from everywhere else. I mean, how excited is it to see that?
No, it's fun. This is the players' games, okay? And you're going to hear me talking about feed the studs, and we're going to design our defense. We're designing our defense around the players that we have. I think if you're just limited to saying, hey, we run one scheme and that's all we have, and no, you have the players that you have. All right. And you make sure that you are putting them in the best position to play high level football. And we have really good players. And I'm excited every day to come in here and figure out what's the best way to use them. And one thing I want to say as well, we don't have 11 starters. OK, you're going to put this down. So don't ask me who's starting here. We have 17 to 18 guys. We're going to go out there. We're going to roll a deep crew and to go out there and whip people. OK, so we don't have 11 guys. We have many personnel groups.
Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Slow down. Stop looking at our last depth charts. Stop looking at ESPN depth chart. You know who I'm talking about, Kansas City fan. You know who I'm talking about. Stop looking at him. He said, we don't have 11 starters. Don't even ask me. We got 17 to 18 of them. Stop looking at our lads. Stop looking at ESPN depth charts. It's fake news. Let's get back to these comments, man. Oh man, let's take a look at it. What's up, Tim? It's all good, man. It's all good. As long as you in the building. Liking the people you work with is so big. Work environment wasn't good last year. Hard to play well for coaches and teammates you don't like. Duran, that's true. Back to back NFC's channel. Check this guy out. Go ahead, Ready Red, man. You notice he said his heart. Yep, he said he coached them hard. So he coaches Forbes hard. Yep. So we had softies last year. Nobody's complaining yet. Real competition, Glenn. That's so true. That's how you find diamonds in the rough, man. Like, you got to put them out there. You got to put them against the best. You got to put them against the best to see exactly where they are, where they at. Element of surprise. He said, don't ask me about who started. Yeah, don't ask me. We got 18 of them. Yeah, that's right, Charlie. We got 18 of them. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Yeah, let's go back a little bit. I didn't hear that again.
Who's starting here? We have 17 to 18 guys. We're going to go really good players. And I'm excited every day to come in here and figure out what's the best way to use them. And one thing I want to say is,
hold up. Nobody even asked him. He telling them before they even asked. Like, he's been hearing all this. St. Juice ain't starting, and they got this person playing here and that person playing here on the first team. He see the media. He know what the media doing. He know what those guys in there talking. He know what they doing. He know what y'all doing. Y'all not slick. So before you even asking me, because I've been thinking about it for 2 weeks now, we ain't got no starters. We ain't got no starting 11. We got 18 of them. Go ahead, Whit.
as well, we don't have 11 starters. Okay, you're going to put this down, so don't ask me who's starting here. We have 17 to 18 guys. We're going to go out there. We're going to roll a deep crew.
He said, "Don't ask me." He did a little dance. You said, "Don't ask me."
And to go out there and whip people. Okay, so we don't have 11 guys. We have many personnel groups, and now can they own those positions when we put them in there? So when that comes, don't ask me about who's starting, please.
Thanks, Coach.
That's it. Go. Last one.
Sign these guys, and see from them OTA saying, Seth can start. Have you been, even more impressed with these guys, seeing what they've done at OTAs where you were with Jeff Bronson?
What I've really been impressed with is with the buy-in that they've had. All right, because it's not, you have to be selfless at some point to say, all right, there's not going to be 11. There's going to be times I come off the field for the betterment of the defense, for the betterment of the team. And there's nobody that's balked at that at all. Everybody's in. Everybody's all in. And the meetings are so fun. They're so energetic because these guys every day are just trying to get better and trying to do it the right way. And as long as we do that, we're going to have a hell of a chance.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, I love it. And when he talked about the personnel groupings, and he has a lot. They probably have a lot of different personnel groupings that they put out there. It might put them out there first, the second, third, whatever. Mix them up because I want to know who play goods beside each other. And we kind of talk about it a lot. Like, the person next to you can uplift your game. Like, it can make you better. It can make you faster. And it might not make sense, like, literally, but if you played any sport, especially regulation, if you play any regulation sport, there's a difference between playing around people that's not good and people that are good, right? I was always better when I knew in my mind I wasn't the best, right? I was always better when I knew in my mind that I wasn't the best around me, right? But when I knew I was the best, I wasn't better than anyone around me. Does that make sense? Right? Because everyone wants to get better. Everyone wants to be the best. Everyone wants to give everything that they got, and everyone needs and wants to be pushed. So if everyone has a mindset that I'm not the best, but I want to be better, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that, right? If everyone has that mindset, look, I'm not the best, but this is when I play my best, when I know I'm not the best. And if everyone can have that mindset, we will be the best as a whole team, right? Because you're as strong as your weakest link. When you out there as a unit, you're as strong as your weakest link. All right, let's see. Let's go through. Yeah, man. He said, y'all write this down. Yeah, man. Guy got a lot of energy, man. He has a lot of energy. A lot of energy. Before we get out of here, I just want to look at I'll look at a few. Let me see, Jamie that edge, and it's a smile on my face. Temu Michael Paz. Stop it, Glenn. Oh no, Glenn, man. Temu may be having some good stuff for 3-4 weeks before it break down. You know, we get Jam for 14, 15 games, man. That might be enough. Teddy said he allows his players to coach him. Yeah, man. That was and we talked about that shows humbleness. That shows humbleness to allow the people that you're supposed to be teaching, the people you're supposed to be making better, to allow them to say, hey, look, this is not working, or whatever the case may be. This may be better. Try it this way. All right, I'll do that. I'll try it this way. Parsons a future commander. He may be. He may be, because him and Zimmer, boy, I don't know what's going on. He said they had 20 words since Zimmer was hired. He said the assistants tell him, hey, Zimmer wants to do it this way. And Parsons tell the assistants, well, I want to do it this way. So I guess whenever we talk, we'll figure out who way we're going to do it. That's wild to me, man. Oh, man. All right. So the new kickoff rule, that's a rule. I mean, it's kind of like you can kind of understand it when you see it written, but because it's new, especially those of us that don't follow the UFL that was formerly the XFL, we really don't know what it looks like or how it's actually performed or whatever on the actual field. But what it is doing is opening up different scenarios for the kickoff. Like, you're really coaching now this kickoff and kick return, to the point where you have possibly your most dynamic player, and someone like, Kaz Allen, young guy, fast speed, all world speed, can get out of there. He has great acceleration. He might not have long speed, but he has great acceleration speed, which you will need. And then you also have someone like Brian Robinson, right, who's more of a, in between a box type guy, breaking tackles. He probably can get outside, get a good start, get you 15, 20 yards. You have him returning kickoff. So that kind of gets you thinking, like, okay, this overtime rule is a little different. And kickoff rule. He also heard other teams trying out safeties to kick the ball off, because now with this new kickoff rule, it puts the kickers in positions to really not only be the last line of defense, but to actually come up and make tackles. Because you can actually treat the kickoff return like an actual offensive play, right? And you could game plan that by going after the kicker, if that makes sense. So this is why we're seeing so many people back there in kickoffs, like today, Kaz Allen, Forbes, Eckler, Dax Milne, Tyler, all these guys may not have done it in the past, but they have a certain skill set that they're looking for whatever that they're going to do when the season comes around. I don't think you're going to see a lot of it in preseason, but I think you'll see a lot of different, like, wow, what was that type plays when it comes to kickoff return. Jahan Dotson, Austin Jones, Davion Davis, even Mike Sanders, who was, strictly on defense. But we saw people like Charles Woodson, Deion Sanders, all of those dudes on defense are, be great returners. Also, Demir Bird was a taller guy, I believe, and B-Rob. So we got Eckler full. So this new kickoff is going to be very interesting. I think we're going to have more excitement when it comes to the kickoff this year coming up. All right. JD in the pocket. Zach Selby had kind of posted these. This is the closest thing we've seen to Daniels facing an NFL pass rush, although it's still just June. So they probably was doing 11 on 11 with D-line and O-line. This is probably the first time they was actually rushing, which they probably on 30, probably going 30%. Maybe not even that much. Doesn't look like Daniels is bothered though. Goes through his progressions, has nice footwork, and zips the ball to his targets. And it's about, seconds, 3 seconds, probably the max, 2 to 3 seconds, whatever it is. I know the NFL has changed, but, is he getting through those progressions? How long is it taking him to get through those progressions in 2 to 3 seconds? You got some pressure, not so much pressure, but bodies. You have bodies coming to you. You have arms, hands going up. You got people crossing your face, people wailing their arms, trying to distract you. Like you have all those things going on, and it gives you a glimpse of what the basic of what can happen during a regular NFL 11 on 11 game. But it's just the speed is different. So you start to progress, understand what it's going to look like, the details of it, and then you'll be able to work out your speeds. How fast you can get your head around first, second, third, fourth, fifth read. You can do those things. So this is good. And like we kind of talked about earlier, these are OTAs, right? We have to put OTAs in a box. You look at OTAs for OTAs, right? Just because they're OTAs doesn't mean that you cannot look at OTAs and see a person's progressions, because it's OTA. So in OTAs, you're supposed to progress. You're still supposed to get better, even though you're in shorts and a helmet, right? You still should get better, even though you're not going 100%. But you still should be getting better in this box, right? This box is not telling us you're going to be a Pro Bowl player. This box is telling us that so far you're progressing in OTAs, right? You're on par in OTAs. So you probably have a long list of goals to meet between now and the regular season, right? So in order for me to get to those goals, I have to first take care of OTAs. And from what we've seen throughout the league is, we talk about Drake May. I think they just, told Jacoby Brissett he's going to be QB1 or whatever. And you hear the reports coming off of Drake May and different quarterbacks and all that. It's true, right? And and we're not saying this is who they're going to be as a quarterback, but OTAs for OTAs in this box, this is who they are. They have progressed in OTAs. These last 3 weeks, they have progressed from where they started in OTAs from where he is now in OTAs, right? And that's what you want to look for, some type of progression, not progression enough to say like he's going to be rookie of the year next year. No. That's not what that's not what we're looking for. That's what we can project. We can project his trajectory from OTAs day one to OTAs today and say this trajectory is lining up with my projection of him being rookie of the year. Right? Like you can do that. You can say day 10 of OTAs, I expected him to be here. Now we're at day 10 now. He's exceeded where I expected him to be. So me looking down the line to say, I think he's going to be a rookie of the year. My expectation and projections is looking really, really good. It's looking really, really good. Right. But you can't say that if his OTA reports are not good, missing passes and not missing blocking assignments or protections, audibles, like all those things that they're installing into the offense. if he's missing it, if he's throwing to the wrong person, he's calling the wrong, he's not picking all this stuff up. In this day 10, that projection for him to be rookie of the year, we have to scale that back now. Not saying that he can't take a jump to get there, but right now it's not looking how I projected it to look. So it's okay to say I'm projecting him to be here, and these are the goals that I'm looking forward to. Hope that kind of makes sense. Yeah, Lewis Duran. Yeah, man, Lewis Riddick has put himself in a box for Jaden Daniels. He has put himself in a box for Jaden Daniels for sure. Max says nothing worse than alarms going off at work and people calling wanting something when I'm trying to watch. Mac, I appreciate you. All right, got a couple more here. Let's do incompletions. Rough series for offense come from JP Finley. Rough series for offense and Daniels thrown out back of end zone intentionally on second down. So that looks like, you know, the reads that he was looking for. I don't know, maybe he had pressure. He threw it out of the back of the end zone, and that's what we want. The play might not have been successful, but his decision was successful. Think about it. The play might not have been successful, but his decision was successful, right? Because you don't want to force anything to throw an interception, right? You don't want to force anything to put your receiver in a position to get pummeled, right? So the play might not have been successful, but the decision was successful. And he says he would have been picked off on third on an underthrown corner fade. And those are some of the things that you just got to work on. That could be quarterback, wide receiver. You know, maybe he was looking for a back shoulder throw or a stop fade, and the wide receiver went go fade or over the shoulder fade. But they have to get that under control. But it's again, it's OTAs. But again, you gauge it to OTAs and not to anything down the line. Completions, 2 plays in. This is the beginning of 11 on 11s, 2 plays in. And the biggest thing I noticed is how much communication is happening on both sides of the ball. We heard the coaches talk about that in the press conferences. A lot of communication. It should be. That's one thing. And a lot of us that went to OTAs and training camp last year, you think about it, it wasn't all you really heard was Eric Bieniemy, to be honest. That's all you really heard is Eric Bieniemy. But it's good to be able to get reports that you hear the players actually talking and communicating with each other and talking with each other at camp. So that's great with the communications. That's real big. Let's see, what else do we have? Talk about the incompletions. Talk about the completions. Yeah, man. So this is definitely I think, let me see. I didn't have anything to put up any other. I wasn't gonna do any players' reactions, but I heard a lot of the player reactions, which were really good from the team, which you kind of expect for them guys to say good things. So that's good too. Oh, let's see. I think that's it, man. I think that's it. Yep. So we will be back on Friday again. Today we were doing supposed to be our Fantasy Wednesday, Fantasy Fade house show, but our guest Tip Major is wasn't able to come because of weather in the Midwest. It's kind of bad out there, and I think we're about to get something here. I'm going to turn this around so y'all can see my casual sign. I gotta fix that. It's all good. But Friday we're gonna have Surge and Shoot on. That's gonna be a fun episode. We're gonna have some fun in here on Friday, 5:00. So please tune in. We're going to get the link for that probably tonight or tomorrow. So please tap in. Again, please hit the like button, please share, please retweet. You can screen record some things and tweet it out. We definitely appreciate all your support. And we got a lot of big things coming, man. We got some people that's going to be starting new podcasts. We have the Backboard Hoops, all DC basketball podcasts. We have another podcast that I'm gonna let the person put that information out there. We've been trying to get this going for the last year or so, but life, what I'm saying, time, make sure the timing is right, and it looks like that their timing is right. So I'm very excited to get that going on. And yeah, man, I'm excited. So I definitely appreciate all of you out there. The website, the store website is just about ready. We got some new products, some new merch that I think you all would love. Have some fashion consultants that you guys know that's also instrumental in this. So very excited about that coming along. And yeah, man, so I definitely appreciate all you guys' support from here. Down through these last year and a half, I think a couple years, for all of our other shows, and everyone is on vacation right now, and on the huddle and enters the lab, trenches, all of those shows, but they're about to giddy back up in a few weeks, but you'll start seeing clips of them and different takes that they have just to kind of get the audience build back up. But definitely appreciate all you guys. Yes, we're going to do playback tomorrow for the NBA Finals. So please sign up or register on playback. We're going to watch the NBA Finals together on tomorrow. So definitely join that. Let me see. Get through some more comments before we go. Deron said, if Jaden fails, it won't be from lack of infrastructure. That is so true. It won't be. It would be lack of talent somewhere. I think O-line and secondary have me a little nervous, which is fair. Like, it's OTAs. What we know is what's on paper, and what we know from last year. That's all we know, and it's not very encouraging, right? It's not very encouraging, especially from what we've been through the last couple of years. So, especially in the cornerback room, the secondary, even though we believe the coaching will be better, but was the players that bad under that coaching? None of them could raise above bad coaching, at least sometimes. That's what's so concerning to me, that we don't have great or good enough players to rise above bad coaching. Yeah, so no, it's not Deron. Man, no, Deron. We're not gonna all that stuff. All right, again, thank you so much. Appreciate you for joining, using your time. I know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We definitely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.